Hello, listeners. Welcome to Jam. It's Adrian here with Jason and Mandy.
Woo.
So, as we continue with this podcast, we learn that we have one very big thing in common, which is we want to bring awareness to social issues happening in our areas. And from our perspective, the only thing we can really give is our personal experiences. And as far as living in the U.S., we, of course, will try to bring more awareness from nationwide, but obviously, for reasons, that's going to be limited.
That's right. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Give us some love. We'd love to hear from you.
The more feedback we get, the more topics we can get and research and give you our opinions and thoughts on, and hopefully bring awareness to other people.
Absolutely.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the LGBTQIA again. All of the information I'm pulling is directly pulled from Vox. I'm not going to not give them credit for research that they did, and I did not. So we start out with the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that says you cannot discriminate based on race, religion, color, or national origin. That was the original draft of this bill. Representative Howard W. Smith, a Democrat from Virginia, added sex to the bill because he thought that would be so controversial that this bill would not be passed.
Really?
Yeah.
A Democrat.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
He thought that adding an anti-sex discrimination thing to this bill would mean that it wouldn't get passed. So all the angry people that were like, you can't tell us that we can't discriminate.
Why? So, was the Democrats still against this back then? Have they not switched their stance?
I think they've switched their stance. I don't know. So it's back and forth, and this is why we cannot judge a politician based on their party. We just can't. We can try to. We can make a generalized idea of what they may or may not be for because of their party, but at the end of the day, it is absolutely an individual.
It is a human still voting.
Yeah, it's still a human in these positions.
They're still going to try and cater to get your vote.
Mm-hmm.
They really are. I mean, think about it. When you want something, what do? You tell someone exactly what they want to hear so that you can get what you want.
True, I agree, but it seems like in this instance, it would have been a Republican that would have wanted that word specifically in a bill in order to not get it to pass.
But again, you're going with their party. You're not going with that individual.
No, true.
Because, let's face it,
That's true.
Trump ran as a Republican because he couldn't run as a Democrat.
Gotcha.
And I mean, think of it this way. If I'm a Democrat and I don't want a bill to pass, but I also want to look like I'm still progressive, I'm going to put this in. People aren't going to question my motives because I'm trying to be progressive, and
It works.
It looks like I'm doing what I told you I was going to do without trying
That
to do
person
it.
looks so progressive.
I know. Good on you, Howard W. Smith, you bastard.
God.
So, because of this, we were then catalyst into a battle for the legal definition of what sex was. In 2004, we see the Smith case, which was a decision of it was a trans woman. She was a firefighter, and she was gonna get fired from her job for being a trans woman. Well, she sued, and she won.
Good
for her.
Yes, that was significant progress. So, 10 years later, we get the Obama administration to come in and pass executive orders that state that you cannot discriminate, that sex discrimination also includes sexual orientation and gender identity.
Yes. Good times.
So we have, right now in the United States, current news, we have 27 states that you cannot discriminate because of their gender identity or sexual orientation. one state that says you cannot discriminate only on the basis of sexual orientation, and 22 states that offer no protection on any of those.
However, the bill that you're talking about that Obama administration came in and said that, you can't, sex is whatever. The Republican Party, when Trump took over, they actually took that and they took that out and changed it back to what the original was.
Yes, 2017.
And so because it's either the liberals are hoping that Biden does it, or Biden has said he's going to change that back to what it was during the Obama administration.
Good for Biden. I don't understand what Trump was doing, what his thought process was.
It was fuck gay people. Sorry,
well,
but
you would hope it was more.
But here's
than
my
that,
here's my deal. Was it Trump specifically, or it was the party itself?
It was the Trump administration, but I feel like if an administration is named after you, you kind of have to take responsibility for that.
Well, okay, no, I agree. Now, my question becomes: was this not an executive order? So this is directly of Trump. His administration can't just take something out. It has to have been signed off by him.
Yeah, it was an executive order.
Okay.
Right.
But anyways, so Biden is going to change that back.
Good.
So
I mean, I think if Biden, can stay healthy, getting up there to 82 by the end of his term, then he has some good ideas. Trump had some good ideas. Biden has some good ideas. I guess my only problem right now, from what I've heard out of Biden, is, and I'm sorry, I've just taken this over and soapboxing, is that the healthcare mandate. While I agree everyone should have affordable healthcare, forcing people that can't afford your quote unquote affordable healthcare with $20,000 deductible should not be penalized monetarily. Why are you taking money from poor people?
Literally no sense.
Who can't afford the damn health care because you can't use the health care anyways. You're just taking their money. Anyways, let's get back to this.
Well, that's all the facts I had, so.
Awesome. What's next?
Well, all right.
We are 8 minutes in.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I mean, I was thinking I was going to get on here and then start ranting about Trump, but I literally cannot care about this human being enough to rant right now, so.
It's over with already.
Well, it is, but I think with this is, I think that if Trump would have not catered to the far right and tried to be, accepting of other things and other people and their orientation, and approached it as look, your business is your business. You do you, as long as it's not affecting anyone else. I think that more people would have been, okay, I see you're actually doing good. You're not trying to take rights away from people. Either keep them the same or make them better. If you don't, if you could, because a lot of people say, well, Trump really didn't care. That wasn't his prerogative to, the LGBTQ. Then he shouldn't have touched anything. He should have just left it alone.
If he didn't care, why did he fuck with it?
Exactly. Because he should have just left it alone.
Right.
And you could say it's a cop-out or whatever, but if that's not your main reason to go in, why mess with it? Let the Supreme Court make their decisions on those kind of things. Let the House and the Senate make those, laws and bills and things. Do other things like with the trading deal and with the North Korea peace treaty and all of that stuff. Do that kind of stuff. So I think it's just really sad that he catered and pandered to them.
So I think what gets me here is that you you say this wording like this wasn't his own idea. Because I absolutely do think that Trump is just a god-awful, hateful monster.
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he had people around him that did care about this, and so he signed those.
But that's still not like putting the blame where it needs to be placed, which is on him. This is him. This is his doing.
He absolutely should have stood up and said, "What the hell is this doing to me?"
Well, and see, that's my point that I'm trying to make, is because he did care. He doesn't like LGBTQ people. He doesn't. He is the homophobe and the transphobe.
He would almost have to be, because if he wasn't, then he would have questioned why these are coming up. And he would have not signed them over. So I think that if we deep dive into his past and his business doings, I think you'll find some of the stuff that he's done was just to show, it's all smoke and mirrors. It makes him look good, but it doesn't mean he actually cares about these things. He knows how to put the show on. Well,
right. I don't think for a minute that he cares really about people he doesn't know. But does anyone?
I mean,
in politics,
the amount of progress that he undid. So the 2014 Obama administration made it to where the Department of Justice encompassed all of gender identity and sexual orientation, and it did something that is one of the most significant steps as far as trans rights go, which is trans youth in federally funded schools were allowed to use the bathrooms of their gender identity. And that's why in between the Trump administration, we heard all of the discourse over the fucking bathroom bills, because people were trying to justify why it's okay for him to just undo these executive orders and be like, well, nope, now you guys can't use your desired bathroom anymore. So,
but you had a lot of people.
But this is in schools,
complaining. Well, no, they did. They complained about it in public, and they complained about school bathrooms doing this. And it was just a huge outcry from parents and everything. So, you take sadly your majority of that people have an issue with this, and you cater to them.
So I blame Trump. I blame Obama. I'll blame any other president that goes in and does an executive order, because if they really mean it, then they don't do it as an executive order. They work bipartisan and get it passed through Congress as an actual bill.
Yes.
Right? Because executive orders mean dick. Because the next president that comes in can just sign it off.
If all of your Congress is fucking homophobic, then what the fuck are we supposed to do?
But it wasn't.
No. To answer your point, it shows the public who they truly are. And you need the public who has the absolute power to stand up, pull their heads out of their asses, and vote these people out. And vote people in that are going to do the right thing.
Well, right, because look at Flint, Michigan. How long have they had no water, shit water, poison water? How long have they had that? And how long have they had, is it the same, they had the same representative, or did they vote another representative in and it keep happening? Because voting the same way does not fix your problem.
Jason, I see your point, and I raise you this. If the majority of America is homophobic, then what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Is the majority of America homophobic? Because the popular vote goes Democratic almost every presidential election.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're not homophobic.
No, but they're at least progressive.
I have absolutely heard liberals do the same bathroom argument that...
No. Well, I mean, you got me there. I don't know. I wish America was more forward-thinking than they are.
Like I said, you can't progress by doing the same things. And people don't like change.
And then to retort your claim, Flint, Michigan's water is actually better than several other cities in the country now.
Ah!
So it's been greatly improved.
Did they vote someone else in?
It's quite possible. I didn't do any true research. I just looked it up because I had seen an article about this recently, and I deep dive into it. So the main point of this article was it's still common to see claims on social media that Flint still doesn't have clean water, but there are tests that now show that Flint's tap water has improved greatly and is actually better than the federal and state standards for lead and better than many other cities across the country now.
Good.
No. Great point.
Fantastic,
Right.
yeah.
But that's why I don't want to keep spreading that rumor that
Right.
it's still a problem. It was. The politicians should be held accountable for doing it,
Absolutely.
but it has gotten better.
Okay, so take your and I know that there's other states and other cities that are bad, but take California and their representatives. California's been in their state of emergency for how long, and they keep voting the same people in to represent. But that goes for every town, every city, every state that's like that has an issue, like with homeless or with
They want to see change and then won't
but they
actually
don't
change
wanna-
it.
Yeah.
True. Now, the problem you have with California, and there are studies out there, and I'll have to look them up, but there are studies out there that show that the more crazy laws and all this such is happening in California and will continue to happen in California because most of the people that don't want to put up with it are doing what the celebrities, quote unquote, are going to do if Trump were to become president, and that's leave the country. Well, most of the reasonable people that are in California are leaving California and driving around this state. You will see a bunch of California license plates because they're leaving that state. So instead of trying to stay and fix the problem, they will up and move to a different place.
So, like, if all the Californians are coming to Texas, can we do, like, a house swap? Like, can I take their place and just...
Sure, and pay their
Yeah.
high-ass property taxes and shit we can't afford.
All right.
And one of the main reasons we're not living in California.
yeah, it's bad.
I mean...
But what are the jobs pay?
Not enough. I'm sure they ain't making $15 an hour at McDonald's. So the problem is that while California weather and a lot of California life can be great, there's a lot of bad with what the politicians are doing.
I mean, Hollywood kind of just ruined California because it made it to where you have to have entirely too much money to live there, so...
Sure, well, that's true, but think about the people. Think about the celebrities that get up on stage and lecture you on how you should be living.
Lecture you on how you should give your money to help people in need. Well, yes, that's great, and you should, I think, if you can, help. How many millions do they have? They could literally fix at least half the issues if they put their money where their mouth is.
Yes.
And helped.
Sure.
You're doing telethons on TV to help raise money for things when you and your 5 friends could fix the problem.
And while I agree, it's more than just that, than the money situation. It's political views and all of this. You need to vote like me because you like me. Because I'm a celebrity and I need to tell you how to live.
I mean, but that shit works, unfortunately.
No, unfortunately it does, but then that's the fucking problem because those are the same people that are in California voting these wackos into their jobs that are going to make these dumbass laws.
Because those politicians are bought by them.
Sure, I mean, that's quite possible. Quite possible.
So in good news, as far as LGBTQ stuff, we have finally elected our first trans state senator. Yes, her name is Sarah McBride. I don't know what district she is in. All I know is that she is there, and I am happy about it because, first off, she's a woman.
Do we know
Second
what
off, she's a
state?
trans woman.
Delaware? Was it Delaware?
I have no idea.
Was it Delaware?
Sure.
What was
Look
this
up first trans woman.
What was this person's name?
Sarah McBride.
Yes, Sarah McBride, American activist and politician who is a Delaware state senator elect, set to be sworn in January 2021. She is currently the national press secretary of the Human Rights Campaign.
Awesome.
She won the Democratic Party primary in the safely Democratic 1st Delaware State Senate District. So she will become the first transgender state senator in the country.
And just so you know, this is how progress is made. This is how progress is made.
Oh, 100%.
Stop wishing the politicians would do better and start voting in people that want to do better and will do better. I don't know her. I don't know her policies. I don't know I don't know anything about her. But this is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. McBride was largely credited with passing of legislation in Delaware banning discrimination on the basis of gender identity in employment, housing, insurance, and public accommodations.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In July 2016, she was a speaker at the Democratic National Convention, becoming the first openly transgendered person to address a major party convention in American history.
All right. Fucking finally.
I know, right? That's awesome.
Right, but again, it goes back to my whole, this is how you make progress. You can't just sit around and wish someone would do better.
You gotta stop voting all blue, voting all red. It's gonna take a smidge of effort for you to do some fucking research.
You know what? The Green Party, the Tea Party, great. That's an option. You know when it's not an option? When they're not allowed or invited to debates.
I watched a thing today, and one person, when talking about the so they were talking about the before elections and when everyone came forward and Elizabeth Warren was on topic, and this person admitted that they weren't doing any research to the candidates because there were too many of them, and he wanted everyone else to dwindle down the options for him. And I think that's where we get a lot of our shit fucked up, is because we want the information just handed to us. We don't want to have to look for it or seek it out. We don't want to have to do any of our own research to see these person's policies. We just want someone to tell us this is either a good or bad person for you.
We want to be the baby bird and have it regurgitated into our mouths for us.
Exactly.
And you can, and I think that's one of like our mission goals, if we can, is to bring information to people in ways that they can understand it, because I get it. It can get super overwhelming. It can get entirely too overwhelming. There is a lot of people to have to choose from. We're a nation of how many billions of people? So
not really. There's not really a lot of options. There's not. You only vote for your county. So if you only have a Democrat and a Republican running...
Oh, right. No, and
you have 15 things you can select. 2 times 15. There's not hundreds of options here. It's literally not that many.
No. In the primaries, before they select who is going to actually represent this or that party, there's a lot of them.
The presidential primaries and stuff.
There's a lot of people.
Of those. Well, I get it. No. Trust me.
It should be past the two-party system,
I'm right there with you, Mandy. Do some fucking research. It's not hard.
And
it's not hard at all.
I honestly just want us to start saving the planet, but the Green Party is looked at like a bunch of weirdos.
Well, right, that's what I'm saying. The Tea Party, the Green Party, you don't have, whenever it comes down to the voting, it's either Democrat or Republican. You don't have the option of another person.
No, you don't.
Because they're not invited as a third party or fourth party or fifth party representative. Yeah. Because they didn't get enough votes to get in there. They don't have between this and this percentage, and they didn't make the cut. Doesn't matter.
You know, it'd be nice if the presidential primaries, they were required to stand up there on stage and go over their voting record of the last 4 years and how they've helped this country at all.
I mean, yeah, I you can meet a career politician that has done absolutely nothing for their community, and a bunch of people that have done so much for their community and won't even give a second thought as if they should be in government or not, because they're not a politician despite all their activism.
I 100% agree with you.
I mean, it happens. It's a reality.
Yeah,
it's fucking sad.
Because, like I said, it's almost like when you go and vote, it's only two options.
Well, and it's
for anything. It's you don't just have Democrat and Republican. You have a write-in option, but I don't want a write-in option. I want to see third and fourth and fifth political parties on there. Let's give people a chance. You shouldn't have to spend billions of dollars or millions of dollars to run for office for anything.
Because it's paid for, it's bought. I mean, it's an absolute red versus blue mentality. I mean, politics is really good at playing into the us versus them, because the us versus them works.
Well, right, but look, both Biden and Trump played the American people. They both did. I am just like you. I am just like you. I have the same issues as you, and I have the same problems as you. Bitch, no, you don't. No, you don't. You're a millionaire, and you've been a career politician who's made millions. No, you don't. You don't know the working class. You don't know the middle class. You don't know the poor. No, you don't.
I would have to beg to differ in the case of Biden, because I've watched some documentaries on his upbringing, and he seems a lot more human than Trump does. But I mean, I don't have any of that laid out in front of me.
Here's my issue with that. Once someone makes money, once someone's up there,
they forget their past.
They forget so easily. And they want to distance themselves from that because they're embarrassed of that.
Well, I mean, Biden never actually planned to run for president until after he saw all the shit happening with the police force and murdering of black youth. So then he decided he would run. And I think that is something that's pretty honorable. Now, I don't know if that'll bring real change. I have no idea if that'll bring real change, but I can only hope.
Or was he pandering to the working and the middle class, the black race, the Hispanic race?
I don't feel like that's the case, honestly. I mean, I could be wrong.
Me personally, I don't trust anyone.
That's fair.
So Joe Biden's reported net worth is $9 million.
Well, yeah, of course now. He is a career politician now.
How much has he donated to charities? Actual donated, not like Clinton Foundation donated.
Fuck.
I'm not sure.
Oh, man.
They own 2 homes in Delaware, cash investments worth $4 million, a federal pension worth more than $1 million.
I mean, you don't get that far into politics without being worth that much money. He's still not fucking Jeff Bezos, so...
Yeah, but here's my problem with this. You get paid a certain salary for being in politics. It's like $100,000 a year. I don't know how much exactly now because they keep giving themselves raises, but it's at least it's $100,000 a year. So you don't become a millionaire like that off of $100,000 a year if you're spending your money and having to spend like a normal working class person.
You're right.
So my question is,
but a lot of people would argue that even billionaires should be able to keep their wealth. I don't agree with that either, but I mean,
So Joe's starting salary way back when, equivalent in today's dollars with inflation, was $250,000 a year.
I don't know how much money that is. I have zero concept of numbers.
That's $250,000.
Oh. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
What
Yeah,
for?
and whenever you
Being a
take
politician.
you take
Oh
the-
my God.
you take
In the
living
70s.
you take living and buying things, and you like normal people.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of that. So if you're spending a lot of that, and I get investments and stuff like that, you get to $9 million.
I mean, that's over the course of how many years? That was in the 70s?
30. Yeah, but you're talking about in the 70s, you have an inflation equivalent of $250,000 a year. That's not that unreasonable.
Yeah, and so
I mean, politicians are rich. Let's make
but also
politicians.
you have people that go and buy their votes. I'll give you this much, or I'll give you this, or we'll work this out if you vote this way. And I'm not saying he did or does, but there are politicians that do, and that's why you get a lot of things. And that's why you get a lot of things passed that shouldn't be passed.
Sure, I see that.
What were you going to say? Sorry, I cut you off.
I don't remember.
Sorry. So yes, and on top of that, they get free healthcare. They get government healthcare. They're not paying for healthcare.
Oh, that's it. We should have a cap on how much they make. There shouldn't be six figures.
Right.
There's no reason for them to be six
We
figures.
should be voting on whether or not they get a raise or not.
Oh, I think
we should be
100%.
voting on how many weeks a year they have to actually work. And then if you're not doing your job, if you don't reach an outcome, you don't get paid. Like, it should be a
Yeah.
real job.
Well, and I think about politicians the same way I think about priests. The money that you get paid is to make sure that you're taking care of the people that you say you're supposed to be taking care of. It's not to profit off of them. You shouldn't profit off of people's faith, rather that be religion or politics. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, what is the starting salary now? $175,000 a year
At least.
to be a brand new senator or representative.
Representative.
What? For what? For what?
I mean, you're supposed to be speaking on the behalf of the people, and I guess if that's actually what you're doing, then good on you.
Maybe. Or they just know how to talk and campaign better.
But yeah,
Right.
you essentially. So it's you know how social media has influencers. That's what U.S. has with their politicians.
That's what it's like I've told you before, you'd be really good at politics because you are a people person. You have a really strong personality and a likable personality, and you even have a background that would help you. You could absolutely run for it. Would you get it? Probably not, because you're honest and you can't be bought, really.
Yeah, I don't think any of us in this room have the skills to be deceitfully manipulative, which is what a lot of people end up having to do. Now we're seeing a change in that. Luckily, we're actually
Right.
seeing a change in people going into politics, trying to be genuine human beings.
Yes.
So
And also, they don't like to be called out on their own bullshit. And I don't think there's one of us in this room that wouldn't call someone out on their bullshit.
No, we probably have a lot of enemies.
yeah. Yeah, that is for sure. I mean, I'm also, I don't know. I don't sugarcoat shit. I don't candy coat shit. I think I would be a good politician if I could calm the fuck down. But I'm not going to censor myself for anyone. And if I want something done, let's get it done and stop playing politics with people's fucking lives.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what it is. You are playing with people's lives, but you don't see the people, so you don't care.
Right. You go into this place and then all of a sudden you're out of touch with them
Everyone else doesn't exist after that.
until it's time to get the vote again. Mm-hmm. Then you're back in touch and you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I assume he has since apologized for it. Biden has said some just unforgivable shit about the black community. All I can hope is that we see a change. And I know it's not that fucking orange Cheeto. So I do not apologize for a single second about my loathing of Donald Trump.
I mean, he brought it upon himself. If he would learn to shut his mouth.
It's not even that. It's his own views. The things coming out of his mouth is because he actually believes these about people. It's fucked up.
Yeah, true.
He's in office because America is still racist, is still homophobic, is still transphobic. He's in office because America is still fucked.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that everyone who voted for Trump is racist?
I do not. But I do think if they did it again, yes, they are.
So I would be racist.
Knowing the things that he has done and being okay with letting that be in office.
Now, do you know, or do you know what the media has reported?
I do my own research.
Because he was very
before on Twitter.
No, I'm not saying to people coming in from Mexico illegally. I'm not talking about that. He absolutely said that shit. I'm talking about, say, the African American race,
the housing project.
He put a black neurosurgeon doctor over the housing.
Oftentimes, a lot of manipulative people will do things like that to take the heat off of them. This does not make him less racist. Just like appointing women does not make him less sexist. Just like having Caitlyn Jenner talk for him doesn't make him less transphobic.
No, I see what you're saying, but also because I've seen him with Al Sharpton before the presidency. I've seen him with Jesse Jack, or is it Jesse Jackson?
That name sounds right.
I think it's him. I've seen him at Democratic events because he supported Hillary or Bill Clinton with other people, other Democrats, with other black people.
Hanging out with marginalized people that are also rich does not mean you're not racist.
But they crucify him now. They didn't care. He was a great stand-up guy that did, a lot for the black community before the presidency, and then after the presidency, when he ran as a Republican, they demonized him.
That's fucked up. They should have never hung out with him.
But I think to generalize everyone who voted for him as a racist, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't. Just like I wouldn't say that everyone who voted for Biden is an idiot.
I would say
I wouldn't say that.
People
that's
that
not true.
Voted for Trump after seeing the damage he does to literal civil rights in both LGBT instances and just everything he is not done to help police brutality, that it's willful ignorance. That is just so not acceptable to me. I fucked up. I didn't vote. I should have, because this person literally undid everything the Obama industry has done, and that affects me directly.
I love your wording, the Obama industry.
I meant to say administration.
I'm sure
all of politics is a fucking industry, but
it really is. Again, you go to catering. When I vote on what I know of what someone's done. To me, Trump moved the headquarters in our Middle East or whatever. He moved that to Jerusalem. He
the capital of Israel.
Yeah, and he did a trading deal with China. He made a peace treaty with North Korea. He's actually made executive orders to help working class people.
He's up for 5 Nobel Peace Prizes.
So that's what I looked at. Now, should I have looked at the other stuff? Yes, absolutely. But again, he can make all the executive orders that he wants. He can't pass a bill without going through this House and the Senate. Every executive order that he makes, someone can come back and take to the Supreme Court and get it, null and voided. And so it's really hard for him to pass something so horrible that would, now what he has signed off on for the exact, absolutely horrible. No one should decide what someone else should or should not be, or who they should or should not love, or who they should or should not marry.
So, I mean, and when I say things like this affect me directly, I mean, my being transgender status has made it super awkward and uncomfortable in interviews to the point where I didn't get jobs. It has made it to where I've been discriminated against in the workforce, which means if you can't get a job, you can't afford to live, which means you die. And, you know, I don't think there's anything more in the world than, like, severe alt-right Nazis would love to see more than the slow dying out of LGBT people.
Well, right, but did you get discriminated against during the Obama administration as well?
Yes, but had I wanted to, I could have taken that to court and won.
You could have taken it to court and won. You could have.
Because that executive order means biological sex. Trump's administration...
you could have taken it to the Supreme Court. You could have taken it up the chain of command. Now, you probably couldn't afford to do it because, again, you don't have enough money. But that's because you're poor, middle class, working class citizens, and you don't have millions of dollars just willy-nilly to throw.
Well, I'm sure somebody would have pro bonoed that shit up to the Supreme Court.
It doesn't mean you would have won, because biological sex is biological sex.
What you do, though, is you play the game.
Right.
You get
Shouldn't
media
have to play the
on
game for
that
rights.
No, but you're messing with politics. You have to, because they think it's just a fucking game. Your life is a game to them. Everyone's life is a game to them. They sit up there and they make chess moves with their areas, with their districts, with their states. They make chess moves. You are bought and sold by other representatives, other states.
They're playing castles.
This is all they're doing.
Does it suck? Absolutely. They're all in it for the vote.
And how do you change that? By voting people who are not career politicians, voting people like the first trans woman into office. That's how you make the change.
I'd stepped back because I didn't vote for either one of those fucking quacks. So, it's whatever.
But I'm going to say, just like with you, with Trump, I'm like that with Biden. Give me someone I can vote for. Give me someone who I can say, okay, I have hope in this person that will change. Biden's been in politics for 47 years. What has he done? Tell me what he...
I feel like there was so many reasons to not vote for Trump. Like, I'm not going to hold it against you, but I am hurt. Just knowing all the things that he's done and said about people and then still voting for him. I can't really... Like, he's literally proven that he does not give a shit about me as a human being. I don't get the privilege to just ignore that.
Oh, and I agree with you. I do. And it wholeheartedly sucks. And it should not be that way. And you shouldn't have to choose between the lesser of two evils. You should have more options. And I think that hopefully people, listeners, can listen to this and see where I'm coming from on let's get more fucking people, more fucking parties. You shouldn't have to pay millions of dollars to...
Sure, I agree with that. Or they should just do away with the two-party system.
Right, and I hope
part
that...
of the problem.
Well, and I also hope that any Republicans out there, any conservatives, can listen to what you have to say and your experiences and go, okay, people should not have to feel that way. And they shouldn't have to go through that.
No, yeah. I mean, I can only be so hurt because it's been my lived reality. So...
Yes, but I mean, whether Biden follows through on, everything he says Because let's be honest, you can stand up there and you can say you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and I support the LGBTQ community, but when push comes to shove, are you really going to do it? If he does it, awesome. I will tell you I was 100% wrong. If he backs out of everything that he said because he just wanted to get in office.
But then does that make Trump doing what he does better?
No.
Because, I mean, saying that you're going to do a bunch of things and then backing down, yeah, I get that. But saying you're going to do a bunch of things that are fucking awful and then doing those bunch of fucking things.
I think, like with the executive order with the bill with the sex.
It's a trans ban.
I did not know that until after the fact.
I can forgive you for that.
With the black community thing, I'm just taking what I've seen and read from before the election and how people have turned on him.
I mean, people should have
was close to
stopped immediately when the Housing Act was a thing. So,
but here's the deal:
Well, right.
They were he was only allowed to be around them because he gave them millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars for their campaigns. That again, people use people for what they can get.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that voting for either one of them was good. I'm just taking about, because my whole deal is I can fight for you, and I would absolutely fight for you, and I will fight for Jason, and I would absolutely fight for Jason and anyone who's being discriminated against. I can do that, and I will do that. What I can't do is have, another World War III because, someone wants to say, well, my peace treaty was with Trump or the Republicans at that time. I can now bomb you because, I don't care anymore. I don't fear you or whatever. China going back on their deal with, that they've signed and say, no, we're not going to follow this. We're going to do it our way again and start all over. And
I mean, yeah.
That's what I voted. That's the way I voted. But
I don't have any knowledge on international issues to rebuttal any of it. So.
Right. But I know where, I think that's where we differ is, yes.
But I also don't fear World War III being a thing anytime soon, so.
No, but I do, you have to, mine is jobs going back overseas. I'm sorry, love.
Why are you so cold?
Because I'm dead inside.
Oh my god.
So, again, I voted the way... I didn't look at it as LGBTQ rights or stuff like that because it takes a lot to get things actually passed, and it would be harder for those to go unnoticed because it is such a big thing now. It's got a lot of awareness brought to it that it would it's so obvious what people are trying to do when they're trying to do take rights away, and it's hard to do because you have to go through so many steps and to actually pass it as a bill and stuff like that. Not saying that it hasn't been done because it has,
right.
And you can fight it. I voted for international and jobs. That's how my vote went. That's how I determined the lesser of two evil.
The economy. Gotcha.
Closing notes.
What are we talking about next time?
We can do an excerpt on dysphorias. I have a lot of shit with that. There's a difference between social dysphoria, mind dysphoria, and body dysphoria. And how mind dysphoria is a very controversial hot take. Because is mind dysphoria just internalized sexism?
Well, there you go, jammers. Join us next time for Dysphoria. Like, subscribe, share, comment.
Let us know your thoughts.
We'll see you next time. Bye.